Welcome everyone to the 2017 summer edition of LEGO Vesting. It is time right now to find the best and the worst LEGO sets of this year. Which ones should you get, which ones should you collect, and which to avoid. Let's get started. So going into the LEGO store, there was a bunch of new sets. I always like to first press on sets, sales, and deals. You just never know what is on sale, and sometimes those deals are gonna actually disappear, and then it's gonna retire. And if it retires, that's not a good thing, because the sale and the amount of money you have to pay now is going to be exponentially higher. So it's no longer on sale, you have to pay more money, and it's going to be expensive. So here is some new interesting collectibles, also called collectibles. And those I would definitely stay away from. They don't look very expensive, they don't look really interesting, and I don't think they are going to make it in the long term. So brickheads, I'm going to pass. Let's go into different themes here. We have the Angry Birds. Let's see what is going on here. So the Angry Birds set, in case you're not familiar, those sets are based on the video game itself. If you're a fan of this niche, the video game, you're definitely going to be a fan of this set. It doesn't look very spectacular as a set. The minifigures actually look pretty decent in this set itself. There was a few interesting creatures here as well. And it kind of looks like a cross between a boy and a girl set. So I'm not sure who is trying to appeal more to, and a lot of cartoonish elements and looks to it as well. This one looks kind of neat actually. $15, you can't really go wrong here. And the boards themselves are probably going to be a collector's item eventually as well. Either that or somebody just likes it for what it is. It is not something that I would put any money into myself unless you're a diehard fan of the video game itself. Let's go back into the set itself and take a look at this. The mountain cave. The mountain cave itself looks pretty much amazing, and I definitely want to get a piece of that. Here's a new creator set that's 3-in-1. We have a few Star Wars, and we have a few other sets as well. Let's take a look at what's going on with the mountain cave itself. So this is, look at the size of this set. It is beyond gigantic. Wow. So it looks pretty decent, especially if you're into Minecraft. I really don't like this kind of sets themselves. There's a lot of pieces here, but they're very 2x4 basic build and pieces. There's nothing really unusual here. Let's go into the Minecraft, and let's take a look at what we got here. So there was a blue mountain one right here. There's some green ones, and I never got into this theme myself. I really don't like the cartoonish like look to it. And here's an interesting one. We got the whole skin patch right now. So Minecraft skin pack right here. And if you will collect those minifigures, that's going to be a very nice set to get. And again, I'm not into the Minecraft version, so I would not put my money into this at all. But if you like it, you go ahead and get it. The Disney one is an interesting product line. Now, Disneyland itself, people love Disney and Legos. So we have a double collectible right here, because people who love Legos and Disney combined, it makes it twice as likely to be a collectible item. In fact, almost anything that's made with the Disney line has a high chance of becoming a collectible and expensive item. Here is one of them, the ship right here. And like I said, I'm not a fan of those kind of sets right there. They're only $10. They're maybe like a very nice way to double your money, but I just don't like the way they look. So I'm not sold on this set. Here is an ice castle. That looks really amazing. Cinderella's castle. Oh, that's not Cinderella Castle, it looks like it. And we have some other interesting sets here as well. Enchanted Castle. This one is cool. I like that one. Let's press on show all here. So the first thing that I'm gonna go into and take a look is gonna be what kind of other things they have here. They also have the huge Cinderella'S castle that they had before, and I don't see it showing up anymore. So maybe it did get retired. Those sets of different vehicles, they're pretty cheap. They look really decent, and they look like something that might actually have a big potential to them. So I like those cars. I like the cartoonish look to them. It's not an expensive investment here. The pieces are pretty great. The only bad thing about there is no minifigures here that are collectibles. Other than that, if you're a Disney fan and you like those small race cars, yeah, that might work for you. This is a juniors line, which means it is really marketed toward small kids, and the chances of those items becoming collectibles are a lot slimmer than anything else out there. So just be careful when you see juniors. It is very, very unusual for them to become a collector's item. Here is an official Disney one right here, Silent Mary. We got the zombies right here, bunch of zombie ships. I love ships in general, but I'm not too liking this one right here. Maybe because it is a zombie ship, maybe because the cannons are not real, they're not actually the real Lego cannons. That would be awesome if this was an actual Lego cannon that they usually use. That will have a lot of awesome pieces, and it doesn't have it. It's like a skeleton display. I do like the way it looks. I mean, this is something that if you put on display in your house, it kind of looks interesting, like a DK ship. But other than that, I like the actual ships. Look at those minifigures themselves. The minifigures are worth, I think, in the set itself a lot more than the actual ship, including those two sharks right here. If you can get your hands on that, yeah, definitely. I do like this castle itself, the elements, the crystals in it. I like that they're using a lot of those transparent pieces. They're very, very hard to find. And this is actually, look at the snowman right there, or whatever that is. It does look like a snowman. It is a very female line here we are actually talking about, but it does look amazing. As you can see, the details here are amazing, plus there's those miniature snowmen, which are actually awesome looking. I like this. But the price is a little steep here, but I don't think this is a very bad investment. This is, remember, it's a female line. So with a female Disney line, it means that it's mostly females who are going to be collecting this kind of line. So in the future, I do think they're going to hold a lot of value because of it is very appealing to a certain niche. This is not a guy's niche. The Magical Castle line with those minifigures, those are female characters, female minifigures. They're trying to actually differentiate between males who are buying those sets and females who like to play Legos as well. There was actually a big fan base of females who are starting to really like playing with Legos. Just to keep this in mind. So here is another one right here. This is mostly a female castle as well. This one actually looks pretty decent, and as a male, I actually like the way the door actually looks. Apart from that, it is very tiny and it is very one-dimensional. So if you're looking at it from the front, it is and looks pretty good. From the back, it seems like it's missing a lot of the roof part to it. So you're not getting the full amount of value to it. I don't think you're getting $47 of playset right here, and this one I would actually avoid because of that. Let's go into another line right here. This one looks pretty neat looking. It's very, very childish like looking. There was too much stickers to it, and I don't like that part. But the characters themselves, here's Beauty and the Beast, plus some of the furniture too. It looks very unusual, so maybe it's gonna be collectible just because of the minifigures themselves here. That's only reason I would actually invest in something like this. But other than that, I'm very on the fence on this kind of line, and the minifigures is probably the only thing that I would be actually collecting if I was collecting this kind of line, and I'm not. So this is actually it in terms of the Disney lines. Let's go back into the different sets we have here. We got Dimensions, which I like a lot. The Nexo Knights, Ninjago, Ideals, some of the classics. Classics are always something that comes back over and over again. Let's take a look at what kind of classics we have going on right now. So we have all kinds of different classics in here. Classics are totally basic kind of sets, and they're good for people who want to get started with Legos, not people who like to collect Legos. Except this interesting, unusual item. Once in a while you get something like this. Here is a cup, a drinking cup, and it is made from Legos right on the bottom of the cup itself. Everything else is just kind of a sticker or something that they put on the glass, but because those things are limited, they only are here for a limited amount of time. After they are showing this, they get discontinued, and the price always goes up with those. So I can easily see this going to like 20 bucks in the future. It's not much of an investment, but it's cool to have. So those are the kind of things you should always look for, including boxes. Boxes themselves would be something that comes up a lot, like a storage for you to use for your Lego investments themselves. They have this sometimes as well. So let's go in here and look at extras, and in the extras you can see the storage right here. There's the appeal, there's the books. The books are always collectibles, remember this, and often some of the books, when they get discontinued, the price only goes up. One of my favorites is the Lego Visual History. That's the one that I haven't gotten yet, and I definitely want to get my hands on that one. I have a lot of books like this, and they're definitely collectibles. The pop-up books, I would stay away from it. It's too childish. It's not likely to be a collectible item. The Lego playbooks, definitely useful, especially if you like to create Legos. And here is awesome ideas. I have one of those, and it is an awesome one as well. With Star Wars collectible books, and this one has been updated and expanded. You should always get those. And here is more things. And this one is some kind of a storybook. I would stay away from that. I love that minifigure. This one looks interesting, but I don't like the way it is like a miniature book here. Here's another Lego Star Wars Encyclopedia. Definitely a collector's set. Anything with Star Wars is going to become a collector's set in the future. Here's another one, minifigure year by year. You should definitely have gotten this one, but it's too late now. This one is out of stock. So you have to go on Amazon and try to grab one of those before that goes out of stock on Amazon as well. And if it does, the price is going to exponentially increase. You don't want that to happen. Let's go into the extras once again. We're going to storage. So the storage ones, once in a while they come up with some brilliant ideas, and you should definitely get those. Here is Lego, some kind of a bucket to it. You can put a lot of your collectibles in though. Or play sets as well. This one seems to be kind of small, and it's expensive for what it is. But remember, some of those expensive sets get even more expensive if you don't buy them. So the price always goes up with Legos. The storage compartments, I don't like those new ones, so I usually stay away from those. Sometimes they come up with interesting sets and interesting storage compartments that you can actually use, and those I usually collect. Those right here, 8-figure display sets. If you like to display your minifigures, I don't think it's enough. I have a lot more than 8. I have thousands of different minifigures by now. Here's the Batman display set. I would rather get the Batman than the Lego red minifigure display set, but it is a small case. There is only 16 that you can put in there, and you can put one of them at a time. So once those go out of stock, they definitely are gonna go up in price. Keep that in mind when it actually happens. There is other things here as well. There's the exclusives. I love to always look at exclusive sets because we just never know what kind of amazing things Lego is going to come up with next. So going to the exclusive category, you get to look at it, get to see what's in here, and you get to invest in interesting sets here as well. And over here, we have those vehicle replicas. And I'm not big into those. I don't like building replica out of an actual model. It is not scale-like. I don't like that they're not scaled exactly for the minifigures for them to put in there. So I don't like to collect those. Out of those, the one I like the most here, which ones I would bet my money on, the Death Star itself would be one of those. The price just went up. I think it was way cheaper before. With the previous version of Death Star, this is the brand new version of Death Star itself. And this is definitely a collector's item, especially when they stop building them, if they ever do. Now, this is the newest version. The previous one is out of stock and it's not there anymore. I like the newest version a lot better because they improved it. They put new minifigures in here. They fixed the whole stage and everything else looks a lot more realistic. Well, to the scale of the minifigures themselves. There are a lot more weapons. And there is an interesting droid, the blue droid right here, which I don't have yet, and I definitely want to get my hands on. This one goes for like $30 for one piece. That's right, that's how expensive the droid actually is. So this is a nice set for you if you are collecting and in the business of getting stuff that are made out of Legos. The price is exponentially high, and I think when they finally decide to retire this one, it might go actually higher, but since they keep on switching and this is already the second kind of a model that they created, and plus it went up in price, I'm not gonna bet money on this. Now, one way for you to get cash, one way for you to get a nice way to make a profit here if you are interested is to get this whole set and either keep the globe or go about and keep the minifigures. It's up to you to decide which ones you want to keep, but if you're keeping this huge gigantic set, you can auction off every one of those minifigures on eBay and probably cover the cost of most of the set itself, or vice versa. So that's one way for you to make money, and of course to actually get rid of a part of the set that you don't like, and that's what I often do. The Snow Speedo itself, this is the ultimate set. Now, this is an ultimate collectible set too. So something like this could go up in price a lot just because it is Star Wars, just because it has a replica of it, and you can actually put the minifigures inside. There's two of them in here and you can actually put them in. So that's what gives it a lot of value. This is maybe a potentially $500 set in the future if you never open the package and you keep everything inside. Don't ever open Star Wars Lego packages. This one I like actually much better. This is another one. I like the scale of this. It looks more scalable to it. It looks more realistic. And this minifigure that we are looking at right here, this is the one that is the money maker. This is probably a $50 to $60 minifigure that eventually is just going to go up in price if they stop making them. Those are the ones that are very, very sought after in the collectible market itself. So here is a bunch of different reviews of this set itself. So every kind of set that goes about here, there is reviews to it, and the minifigure I was talking to you about is called the Boba Fett. That is the name of that minifigure that is very collectible. Take a look how it actually looks from the bottom of it as well. Very interesting kind of a creation and pieces that have been used. So it looks very real. It looks like the one in the movie itself, and that's what you want to really look for. You want to look for sets that look almost identical to the movie, and you can just display them and think, hey, wow, this was in the movie itself. Here's another one, the TIE Fighter. This is another one of those ultimate collectible editions. This one is also going for almost the same price. Actually, it is the same price of $200, and it looks very scalable. I'm not too fan of those kind of items. I just don't like to collect them myself, but I know those are the type of items that do go up in price a lot. I just don't like that they take so much storage space, and it actually is something that, I mean, when you have a lot of collectibles, you can only have so many in your collection. Keep this in mind when you are storing things in your collectible sets themselves. There is more sets right here. This is a brand new one, Lego Boost here. And Lego Boost, we are getting a robot here that actually moves with a bunch of different functions to it. It's coming soon. It's not available yet until August 1st. I like the way it looks. The price is exponentially high with those kind of kit sets with models and functions. Those models and functions are pretty much expensive, and you can create more than a few items in it. So some of those become interesting sets that are very sought after by collectors. Some of those don't go too well, and they just stay around the same price. You can't really go wrong this much with those kind of sets themselves. One thing that we are missing here is the train sets, and those don't seem to be working this much for this year. They don't have a bunch of them that are going on right now. So here is the Disney line. We're going to be really exploring that one. Here is an interesting line, which is Elves. We're going to be checking that one out. And Friends. Those are also female lines that I want to emphasize a little more as well. There is different kind of ones here, and one of them is the Mindstorm. This is a very, very nice set by itself. We're going to be looking at it. There is other kind of sets here. There is another minifigure that just came out, and the Nexo Knights. So the minifigures themselves here, got a bunch of them. New series that just hit the fan, so to speak. The Batman series, and I really suggest if you're gonna get any kind of series and complete it, you should definitely get the Batman series, every single one of those. I will just buy every one if you can on eBay while it is still selling, because this is definitely going to go up in price. Some of those specific minifigures, we don't know which ones exactly, but in the future the price is going to exponentially go from $4 all the way to 12, maybe 15, maybe up to 20. It is very cheap way to invest in a Lego set. By buying a whole entire collection, you're betting on the entire collection instead of betting individually. Do not buy this from Lego, because you don't know what you're getting here. You might do like 16 pieces here, you might do all the way to 40, but it is random. You're getting random pieces. You don't know what you're getting. You might get 10 of the same exact minifigure. You definitely don't want this to happen. Here is the Lego Elves collection. One of my favorite sets out there for female line. Out of all those sets right here, I don't like most of them. The reason for that is just the way they actually look, but maybe because I'm not really into that kind of a line. It is really generally going and trying to target females. And the reason for that is quite simple. Take a look at the colors they're using. There was a lot of pink, purple, and other kind of elements to them. But one thing I do like, some of the unusual and weird pieces that they do use to create them. So for the pieces themselves, those are definitely is some good sets that you might actually get just for that. This one looks actually pretty interesting itself. It is not a collectible set. There is one set right here that I definitely actually like, and I think in the future it's going to be a collectible set. This is one of the few things I do suggest for you to get from the Elf set. This one cost only $59. and I really think this has a very big potential. It has those small miniature kind of elf figures and the goblins as well. So here is 1, 2 goblins and 3 small goblins, 2 different elves that are coming in here. What I really like is the small miniature houses that they actually live in. It reminds me of Smurfs or something like that. I really think that this specific set itself is a worthy collectible item, and it's going to go up in price a lot once it does retire. If you can get your hands on this one, you should definitely get it for $60. It is a pretty good deal we are talking about here. The Lego Friends is the line that actually existed previously to the Lego Elves. So this is the one that is very targeting into females. There was a lot of malls here, there was shopping centers, hospitals, stuff like that, and they have the female minifigures to them as well. The ones that I would specifically get if I was gonna invest in something like this, I would look for the restaurants. I would look for maybe the school one. As you can see, here is a school building actually. And this one has a big potential because people who are teachers and are females might actually get this just because it looks so much like a school. It's on sale now for $63, and here is a yellow school bus, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I'm not putting too much emphasis on getting something like that, but I do think they do and they will hold some value for what they are. And here is a restaurant one. This one actually looks pretty decent as a restaurant. It can even go and work for just a Lego set. So if you are looking for a cheap way to flip some money, $23, you can't really go wrong too much here. And in the holiday season, once this goes and gets retired, you might be able to flip it for $40, not much more than that. And here is the Mindstorms themselves. Look at the pieces. To get some of those pieces for Mindstorms, we are looking at a major amount of investment here that you have to put into it. $189, $84 for this one, and even a whooping $349 for this, because there's so many electrical parts in here. Those things, they come up with them, and they always come up with a more interesting and sophisticated line out there, and they keep on going up in price. So this one is $349. That's a lot of money. But once this thing retires, it might go all the way to $500. So expensive becomes even more expensive when it comes to Lego prices. It's not just a kid's toy anymore. Some of it is built just and created for collectibles themselves. This line right here is an interesting line. Nexo Knights. The whole line is going to get retired very soon. You're not going to see this anymore. So if you want to get and grab them, go ahead and get them, because they're not going to be making them anymore. And I'm not sure if it was a successful line or not, but it seems like they had enough of it. So they're retiring it, and they're retiring some of it. Here's one of the sets themselves. This one has very big wheels here. It is not something I like this much, except maybe the minifigures themselves. I was not big into something like that. The only one that I actually really enjoyed here is this one right there, the Tower Carrier set. And the only reason I liked it is because this looks like something from the movie Aliens, and I redid this whole spaceship right here, and I created my own version of it. It looks very sophisticated and nice looking. So I really enjoyed this set just because of that. Other than that, I would not be getting it if I was trying to collect any of the Nexo Knight sets themselves. I think the theme itself just didn't work out well. I think the way they designed it, they wanted to have a futuristic kind of a Knight set, and it just went nowhere. It's not much of a Knight set, and it's not much of a space theme, and it just doesn't make sense for Knights to be fighting in space. But now, you could use your own imagination and think that's a cool thing to have, but I really think this line just failed. So maybe that's why the reason is they're retiring this entire line. There's other sets here as well. Ninjagos. This has been an ongoing set that has been going on for such a long time. I don't know even how long. It's like it seems like people love the ninjas and love the Ninjago sets. And you can definitely get some of those sets and make pretty nice buck out of it. Just because the minifigures are highly collectibles in them. So each one of those minifigures is always a collectible one. There is pieces and other interesting creations in here as well. And the very nice line already got closed. And the one we have right now is the Lighthouse Siege. This seems to be one of the brand very nice looking sets that you can actually get. Take a look at this. Very nice castle and pieces and play area as well to it. It's not something I would collect actually. It's just not there. There's something just missing in this set. I don't feel it. Okay, so some sets you can feel that, yeah, this set is gonna go somewhere. There is a lot of details and a lot of attention to details that have been put into this, such as maybe this one right here. There's a very nice samurai cave right here, and it looks pretty decent, and the price is quite expensive. You get a lot of minifigures, and the stage itself looks pretty neat as well, so you can have a whole battle it out right in here, and the elements look pretty neat. I don't think it's gonna go any higher than the price itself, and that's why I would not recommend for you to invest in those specific Ninjago sets themselves. So let's go into show all. Let's take a look at what we got here. So sometimes we have interesting kind of sets, the newest ones, and I like to look at the prices, high to low, and see which ones are the highest price, and then scroll down to the lowest one and see if we can find something that is collectible or not. And usually it is the collectible stuff that I like to buy, but sometimes I'll get other things just because I want to get them for myself. Here is some very exclusive Ninjago sets that are coming soon, and those look like some winners, like real winners that we are talking about. Here's more different sets that are coming soon as well, in a few months or so, and I want to explore them right now before they come out actually, and so you can think if you want to invest in them. Here is a bridge right here. It's not made out of the interesting bridge pieces to them. I really don't like the way they didn't use the usual pieces that they use for creating a bridge here. Other than that, this set looks okay. The 29 bucks is too expensive for what it is. I would pass on it. Here is another set right here. A lot of very nice blue elements to this castle, but it is very, very one-dimensional. It looks like it just goes up and there's almost nothing in it, like totally nothing inside the castle. It's just empty, and that's why I'm gonna be passing on this one as well. Here's something that I said there was a few winners here, and this looks like one of them. Look at this ship itself. Now that's the kind of ship I like to get. This one is almost entirely made out of Legos. Like Lego pieces are being made and constructed to create an entire ship. This is almost unheard of. Usually you get an already pre-built pieces that are used for the bottom of the ship. This one is not like it. Look at this. There is so much details and attention to detail in it. The only thing I don't like about this set, and there is a lot of play pieces, weapons and everything else in it, but it really lacks the minifigures. There's very few of them here. I would be expecting a little bit more here. I do like the ninja team version to this. There's a lot of very nice looking minifigures, the ones that they do give us. Look at this different location. There's new look to the ninjas. I do like that a lot. In fact, this is one set I might actually get when it is coming out, just because I like the huge details in it. This is amazing. The Lego Ninjago City. Now, if there was a set I would be getting right away and just grabbing it as soon as it comes up. That's going to be this set right here. The level of sophistication of this, whatever this thing is, the city, is just breathtaking. I never seen something like it created by Legos. This is an instant collectible item. The amount of details to the city, and it's like 3 stories, and just the way it was constructed and everything. Look at this. There was kind of a like a small part on the bottom, and you can just take it apart, and it really looks like futuristic kind of a city, like in Chinatown. I don't know what you call it exactly, but just the way it looks is just amazing. So I like the way it is. I like the way, and it really seems to be more of, I would say you would see something that's very similar to this maybe in Japan, I would say, just the way it is built. But the attention to details here is the reason I like this set. It is something that if you buy it, don't even open it. Just keep it in the box. Wait until it goes to like $600 or so and just sell it. Me, myself, if I was going to get this, I'll build it right away and just display it in my geek cave. So that's what I would actually do. But it's up to you to decide what you would actually do with something like this. But it does look like highly collectible, amazing set. Mana Ocean Voyage. Look at this. The only reason I would get this is for this huge minifigure based on this movie, which is called Mona or whatever it is, the Hawaiian one. So this one, $39 for just the 2 minifigures based on this movie. There's a lot of people who are total fans of this particular movie, and this set itself, yeah, I would get it. I'm not into this movie, never seen it, but I know there's a lot of Disney fans out there who love anything has to do with Disney plus Legos, and plus it is part of a mono movie, so it's like 3 elements all combined, and it has an unusual minifigure to it. That is definitely something you should invest and buy. Let's go back into here, take a look at the other sets we are talking about. We have the Marvel Superheroes DC Hero Go set and the DC superheroes themselves. So Marvel and 2 DCs in there as well. Let's take a look at what we got here, and let's press on browse all themes a little bit too. So the browse on themes, I want to show you one interesting thing here, and the thing that I want to show you here is very, very simple. Let's go and show you the Lego ideas. I'm going to be going into that next. Another thing that we are going to be looking at is going to be the series play and the speed champions. So let's go into the series play and speed champions, and lastly the Star Wars. Let's put that in here. So next thing that we are looking at is the Marvel Superheroes. It's a bunch of those, and some of those are coming from this one, and this one right here is coming from the movie. And the movie itself, I don't know if you've seen this movie, but it is an interesting movie. Guardians of the Galaxy, that's the name. Here is the skunk. Oh, I don't think it is a skunk. Whatever this thing is, that is a cool looking animal, and I like it. So you can get it just because of that. Now, Guardian of the Galaxy Part 2, I'm not too fond of most of the minifigures. I do like this spacecraft right here. This one is just ugly looking minifigure. This one is even more ugly looking. The only one I like is this dude right here, the raccoon himself. So I called the guy a skunk. It kind of does look like it. So the raccoon itself, I would just get it for the raccoon, and that's it. I would not get anything else in this line. I'm not too much of a fan of this kind of a Lego set. The previous version, I think, was much better looking than this specific version of it. Here is another one that's coming directly from this movie. Here is one unusual minifigure in it. I don't like the bright orange colors to the spaceship. I think it totally ruined the spaceship itself. There's just too much elements and too many wrong colors in here. Too much orange, too much pink, and it starts to look like a girl set, and that's not good. It's not gonna make it a collector's item, because mostly guys are the ones who are buying this kind of set, and the minifigures just not standing out here. The Lego submarine one, this looks pretty neat actually. The submarine itself looks kind of neat. I don't like that it's yellow, but it does look pretty good in the yellow form. I do like this minifigure right here. So whatever that minifigure is, this one looks just ugly. I don't like that one. So sometimes you can get them for the minifigures, and that's the only reason you should be getting them, is for the minifigures. Here is the female version of the DC Comics. So this one right here, there is not much of a set here that you can get for yourself, and for females maybe you can get that for them. So if you see something you like here, you can press on it, you can buy it. If you don't like it, just don't get it. I think I got into some kind of a secret area in the Legos. I pressed on it, it's like, what is this? So sometimes you can get into something interesting. I don't know what that was. That was some interesting secret area in the Lego itself. So here is one interesting looking one, and it looks like they're getting more and more sophisticated for the female line here. It looks like it's gaining in popularity because they keep on creating them. They look different as minifigures. It's more like a doll kind of a minifigure, and for itself there was interesting pieces and parts to it. I don't like it as something that's going to become collectible in the future. I think the line, maybe in the future they're going to make something that's going to become a collectible set, but for now I have not seen them make it yet. I have not seen them get something that looks so amazing that it's going to become a collector's set. The minifigures is the only thing that might actually be more collectible. Take a look at this. They're building and they're becoming more and more sophisticated and interesting looking. So that's definitely something for you to keep in mind when it comes to those kind of sets themselves. And here is the first version that they actually created, one of the first ones in the set itself, and it doesn't look this great. And maybe because of they didn't put enough details, maybe the team that was working on this didn't put enough imagination. The craft itself looks amazing, but the school itself, like the high school, it doesn't even look like a high school. It looks like something else totally. So here is the superhero set right there, the girl set, and some other DC comics versions here too. And there is nothing that really stands out here except this bike right there, and I did get this set for myself, and it's not for the bikes. I got this for those two minifigures that you're looking at. For 20 bucks you're getting a bunch of minifigures and another Batman. I have so many of them now. I'm gonna just sell them on eBay. The dirt bikes, I like the parts, so I used it for some kind of a creation. Other than that, there was only two very unusual and very nice minifigures, and I had to grab them. So this set definitely is going to go up in value just because of those two different minifigures in it. Here is something else. Lego ideas. Some of the best sets ever created are in this section, period. This one already is out of stock. The yellow submarine one, and the old fishing store, coming in September 1st. If you want to get and save up for one set only, this is it. Just grab this one. It has so much details and attention to details itself that I definitely think that you should just buy it and never open it. This is cheap. It's only $150 when these sets get retired. I can see this someday reaching a $500 value. It looks like something out of, LL Bean. If you ever visited that store, that's the way it actually looks like. I mean, there's a lot of similarities to a building created in LL Bean, which is one of my favorite stores out there. And it also has this look from something from Maine, from the coast of Boston or something like it. It just looks so good. There's so much details to it, and you can open it in the back. You can go and buy fish, like other different things. Yeah, like use your imagination. That's what I mean. You can't really buy anything, but it is a very collectible set, a lot of attention to details. It's definitely a set you should be getting. Look at the roof tiles and pieces, and the top of the roof as well. And here is another one, which is the NASA Pole. Those things have been always popular, and this specific one, you're really buying it for just one item, the rocket itself. Now, usually I like those kind of space sets, but it's just a shame that the best part of it is so small. This is like a miniature moon landing or a landing craft to it. I do like the way this thing looks, but the size of this is like a pencil size. That's how small those mini figure of a minifigure replica actually is. It is so small. And it doesn't even come with actual minifigures to the set itself. It's a big letdown. For $120. You're really buying it for one piece of a humongous rocket. That's it. Everything else here is just miniature. And this set is definitely not worth $120. I don't think it's gonna go up in value. I do like the rocket. If that's the only reason people are gonna be buying it, is for that. And maybe that's why they didn't pay much attention to anything else in this set. The blue elements here are very unusual and rare. It's very hard to find them. And the price itself, and here is people who actually designed it. Those are the designers themselves. You can see them right here, building it. $120, way too much for what it is. It is a very nice replica. Now that I see it standing on the table, you can see how huge and big it is. That's another reason why I don't like it, is just how big it actually is. But that's the reason it is so expensive. And I could be actually wrong here. This thing could go up in price just because it looks so much like the real thing. But I'm just feeling that something is missing in this set, that you're just not getting something. Maybe that's why I was disappointed originally when I just looked at it. It just seems like you are not getting the minifigures, and you're not getting a very nice Space Lander, which I was hoping for in this specific set. The Yellow Submarine one with ideas. This is, and talking about the Beatles. If you like the Beatles, you love this. This is like every one of the Beatles themselves in actual Yellow Submarine. So if you're a Beatles fan, there's a bunch of people who are diehard Beatles fans. This is it. This is something you have to grab. And there is probably a bunch of those who actually exist out there. In fact, going back to the Ideals set itself, some of the sets I talked about before actually retired. This one is sold out. This is the Big Bang Theory. We are looking at maybe a potentially $120, $150 set in the future. If you can still get your hands on it somewhere really cheap, get it. Because once this TV series has its grand finale and this set no longer on the market, you know how many people are going to go and try to grab this specific set itself, and you can get and you can start printing money with it. There is geeks, there is nerds, there is people who always watch this show every single week. And those are exactly the kind of people who like to play with Legos too, and like to collect them as well. They watch the show, they collect the minifigures, and now you have only one set that represents the whole TV series in it. So what do you think? So what do you think is gonna exactly happen when this specific TV series is gonna stop making the series itself? When the Big Bang Theory is no longer gonna be shown on TV, and they're gonna have a season finale. People are gonna go and jump on this set. So I like the set itself. I got it just because I wanted to grab every one of those minifigures. I didn't like the building, but maybe I made a mistake by destroying it. Next set right here is the series set. Look at the prices. That is expensive. The starter kit is the only one you probably could afford. And the pieces themselves look interesting here, but they're probably not worth it for you. Not an investment. This is just great if you have a company and you want to give them one of those days. Go ahead, build something out of Legos and enjoy working with it. Try to teach some patience into people who have none, who are part of your workforce. So that's a great thing that you can get, but it is very, very expensive. And I'm talking about companies maybe like Apple or Google, who probably will buy something like this for their employees and give them one of the days to play with this, because they have this so much money to waste on all kinds of things. Here is the Speed Champions. So there was a lot of very interesting like looking vehicles in here that you can grab and get and play with. And I like the sophistication to them. I don't like the huge amount of stickers that they actually used in them, and a lot of it as well. So if you take a look at the biggest one, which is the Speeding Champion right here, I do love those Speed Champions. Look at the green ones right here. If there was not so many stickers in here, this would make it an amazing set. But I still think it does look pretty good for what it actually is. I wish there was more details to it as well, but you can always rebuild this and make your own version of it if you don't like how it is created. Another one right there, and this is the last one we are going into, and this is the Lego Star Wars. I would be staying away from things that look like this. I don't know what this is supposed to be, and I don't think it's gonna grab and get any value to it. Out of the Lego Star Wars sets and some of the new ones out there, the two and the ones that caught my biggest amount of attention are those two sets right here. And those two sets, one of which is this one. I do like the sophistication to the set itself and the pieces in it. Look at this. Some other secret menu just pop up from Lego. I'm just gonna press on cancel. And this one, I like the minifigures in it. Love them. I don't like those interesting things, but I like the pieces in here. So for pieces, yeah, this is great. For the price, it's just too much. The one I would love to get, and I actually did, is the Ninjago quad jumper. I already bought one of those, and I think I'll actually buy another one, just because when they stop making them, this set is going to go up exponentially in price. And the reason for that is just the way it's built. It has so much attention to details in here, and that's what makes it so amazing. I did, and I created my own mocha out of it. I think this one is going to retire eventually, and it's going to go up in price to maybe 120 or so. The minifigures is not what I like in this set. I don't like them at all, but I do like there's so much attention to detail to the quad jumper. With this said, I hope you enjoyed and found this video to be helpful, and see you in another one.